guys, what's up? Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma for those of you who are new, and I would love it if you guys subscribed and stuck around. Today's video, as you can tell by the title, we're just going to be sitting down and chatting about all the books that I read this summer. So my summer reading wrap up. I am so excited for this video because I don't remember the last time I sat down and talked about the books that I read or did a wrap up video. I feel like it was in like May or into April that I did a wrap up. So this wrap up is just going to include all the books that I read this summer. So May, June, and July. We're also almost through August and I haven't read many books, so I'm just gonna throw in all the books that I've read in August thus far for you guys. I did not read that much this summer at all. I'm pretty sure there's less than like 15 books. I am not doing a great job at my reading challenge for this year. At the beginning of the year, I set a goal for myself to read 100 books, and I've only read about 33 or 34, but I've almost beat how many books I read last year. So while I am losing and not fulfilling my reading goal that I set for myself this year, I am beating my goal for last year. So I'm hoping I can at least get to 50, 60. We're gonna try and shoot for 75, but we shall see. As long as I beat my goal for last year, I will be fine. But I had a really busy summer with working full time and traveling and concerts and all of that stuff. But in the fall and winter, I really like to slow down and I read a lot in my free time, and I want to try and make more time for reading in the fall and winter and film like reading vlogs for you guys and everything. So hopefully I can sort of catch up and read a little bit more and have some more reading content for you guys. Let's just go ahead and get into this little summer reading wrap up. Be sure to like this video and comment down below your favorite book that you read this summer, because if it's not in this video, I definitely want to pick it up and read it if you guys loved it. Be sure to subscribe, follow me over on Instagram, bookstagram, and TikTok, and be sure to friend me over on Goodreads. I'll have it on the screen and down below. Let's just go ahead and get into my summer reading wrap up. So we're gonna go in order from May to August, and I think there's less than 15 books, so we shouldn't be here for too long. I'm just gonna share with you the book, author, and my rating for them, and just a little spiel on why I rated it the way that I did. So let's go ahead and get into the books that I read in May. The first book that I read in May, and the first book to kick off this video, was one of my highly anticipated releases for 2023. I was so excited to get my hands on this book, and that is Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. I absolutely loved Carly Fortune's first novel that released in 2022, Every Summer After, and I believe I rated that at 5 stars last summer. So I was super excited to get my hands on this book, but I am sad to report that this book was a disappointment for me. I don't know if anyone else can relate, but I feel like I just put too much pressure on myself to enjoy this book, and I just did not love it. It just didn't hit the mark for me. So I rated this at 3 stars. But looking back on it now, I'd probably knock my rating down to a 2, which really pains me because I loved Every Summer After. So I think I was just trying to force myself to like this book, but I just didn't connect with it. I just didn't love it, and it took me a while to read. So I am excited. Carly Fortune just announced her 3rd book, I think, that's coming out next summer. So hopefully that one will redeem itself for me. But definitely didn't like this book, so much so that I actually decluttered my bookshelves a couple weeks ago when I moved to my new apartment, and I put this in my unhaul pile. So I have like a stack of books that I'm getting rid of. I'm either selling them on Facebook, donating them to friends, all that sort of thing, and this book just didn't make the cut for books that I'm keeping in my physical collection. So not off to a good start. Let's see what other books I read in May. The next book I read in May was A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime by Monica Murphy. When I initially bought this and read it, I thought it was the first book in the Lancaster Prep series, but I believe it's actually the second. So I'm not sure how many books are in the series, or if they follow all of the same characters, or if they're all about different Lancaster brothers. This one is the second book in the series, but I read it first. I don't know if you need to read them in order. But this one is about Crew and Red, and it basically takes place at like a rich prep school. I'm not sure if it's in New York or like Massachusetts. I forgot, honestly, but I rated this a whopping 2 stars. So I didn't rate it poorly for like the writing style per se, because I really did enjoy the writing style, and I liked what the books could be. So maybe I would like other works by Monica Murphy or other books in this series, but I just did not relate to this one. I didn't like it. I don't know, I just didn't like the 2 characters or the 2 characters together that much, if I'm being honest. And there was a scene in here if you read the book, you know what I'm talking about, and it traumatized me for life. So while I did rate this a 2 stars, it's not going to deter me from Monica Murphy's work or the rest of the series. It's not high on my list to get around to, but I feel like if I saw it at Barnes or something like that, or on Amazon, I may order the rest of the series, so we shall see. Okay, the next book and the final book that I read in May, I actually did enjoy. So this is the first book in the Dreamland Billionaire series by Lauren Asher, and that is The Fine Print. The Dreamland Billionaire series is about 3 brothers who are billionaires. They're from a rich family, and their grandfather was like the CEO or whatever of Dreamland, which is basically the equivalent of Disneyland. And in their grandfather's will, after he passes away, he basically tasks the 3 brothers with doing things to inherit their portion of the will and inherit their portion of the Dreamland business or the family business or whatever. So the first one follows Rowan and Zara, and I honestly forgot the plot line of this one, if I'm being honest, but I initially rated this 4 stars because I really did enjoy it, and it had been a while since I had read a book with this like banter and that was so quick and fast-paced for me to read. While I did rate this one 4 stars, the second book in the series I enjoyed, which I'll talk about here in a second. So I enjoyed that one a little bit more, and so I would probably knock this one down to a 3 stars. If I did half ratings, I would probably say 3.5 because I did enjoy this book, but I enjoyed the second one a little bit more, which we'll talk about here in a second. But this was a good way to end the month because I had kind of been in a slump with the books that I had read in May. So let's move on to the books that I read in June. Okay, speaking of the Dreamland Billionaire series, this is the first book that I read in June. This is the second book in the series. This is Terms and Conditions. This follows Declan and Iris, and Declan's task is, I think, to get married because he has like this ice cold heart and like this ice cold exterior, but his grandfather, I think, like tasked him to get married and like have a family. I don't know, but basically this is about like a marriage of convenience. Iris, his assistant or his secretary, volunteers to marry him so he can fulfill his portion of the will, and it's like a forced proximity marriage of convenience. And I don't know, the tropes just worked really well in this one, and I enjoyed this. I ate this up so much. I read it in just a few hours while I was traveling on my trip to London this summer, and I just really enjoyed this one way more than the first one, so that's why I would probably knock the rating down for the first in the series. But if you're looking for like a quick, fast-paced, easy read or a series just to eat up really fast, I definitely recommend this one. I still have the third one on my TBR. I just got that one recently, so hopefully in the fall I can knock that one out. But really enjoyed this book and gave it a 4 stars, so a great way to start the month of June. Okay, next up, this was one of my most highly anticipated releases of the year, and that would be Happy Place by Emily Henry, and I'm happy to report that this one is a 5 out of 5 stars for me. I was so excited to get my hands on this book, and if you're wondering where I got the paperback, and if you're jealous, I would be too. But I ordered the export edition, which is like the large paperback from Book Depository before they closed down. I'm so happy that I did. My boyfriend did get me a signed copy of the hardcover, so I do still have that on my bookshelf. But I'm so excited that I have like the paperback version. I just absolutely love it, and whenever I reread it, I'm gonna try and like annotate it again maybe. This book was so beautiful, and I related so much to the main character, Harriet. I don't know, I just feel like our thoughts and our feelings and just some things that Harriet struggles with, I also struggle with, and I'm sure a lot of like 20-somethings struggle with. But I feel like this was so much more than a romance between Harriet and Wynne. I feel like this was more like literary fiction, contemporary fiction, and focused a lot on the found family aspect and how friends can literally shape your whole worldview and shape your lives. And I feel like anyone in their 20s who is about to graduate college or has been out of college for a while or is struggling post-grad, I feel like this is a good book because it hits home on a lot of different things, like losing touch with your friends, how hard it is to be away from people who you considered family in school or in a certain aspect of your life, also dealing with like imposter syndrome in the workplace, basically not wanting to do what you went to school to do, relationships, lost relationships, rekindling relationships. I don't know. I just feel like this book was so beautiful, and I feel like it's some of Emily Henry's best works. I'm so happy that I found a 5-star read this summer in this book. I honestly want to reread it so badly, but I'm probably gonna wait until next summer. I absolutely love this book. I adored it, and it's my favorite Emily Henry work so far, but I'm excited for her new release coming out next year. So definitely recommend this book. If you haven't picked it up, you definitely should. I highly recommend this book. Another book that I read in June with a pink cover is Call It What You Want by Alyssa Derogatis, I think is her last name. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but I bought this book because I followed the author on TikTok. She is a 20-something-year-old and this is her first novel, and it's loosely based off of a situationship that she experienced in college and post-grad. It follows Sloane and Ethan, who meet I think on like the second day of either sophomore year or like senior year at college. I'm not really sure like the whole timeline, but basically it follows their situationship for like a span of like 5 to something years, and how Ethan can never fully commit to her, and even when Sloane says that she is, you know, over Ethan, there's still like a string that attaches them, and like it's just like this toxic relationship. And I don't know if you've ever been in a situationship or your friend has or something like that, you know, like the feeling and how shitty it can make you feel. So this book was really good, and I really enjoy how it's based off of the author's like real life experiences. Not sure how closely it's based or how loosely it's based, but I really did enjoy it. I initially rated this 4 stars, but looking back I'd probably knock it down to like a 3 after some of the books that I read this summer. But if this is the author's first work, I'm excited to see more from her. So definitely recommend this one, and it is such a short read. I literally read it in like less than 2 hours, so definitely recommend this one as well. Okay, the last book that I read in June, and I say read in quotations because I DNF'd this book, which makes me so sad, but this is Forever Never by Lucy Score, which breaks my heart because I love Lucy Score. I have not DNF'd many books in my lifetime, but this is one that I could just not get into. I think I hauled this in like February or March, and I have tried to pick it up every month since March. I started in March, put it down, picked it up in April, May, whatever. Didn't touch it until the end of June. I was like, I want to finish this book because I love Lucy Score. But I put myself into the biggest reading slump. Like, I literally blamed this book for my reading slump this year. I couldn't get into it, but I also could not put it down. Like, I was trying so hard. I don't even think I got 100 pages into this book. I don't know if it's a third-person point of view or if I just don't like the characters. I don't know, but I DNF'd this and I'm getting rid of it. It's like at the top of my unhaul pile. But I don't know, if you guys like this book, tell me if I should try and reread it again. I'm still counting it as a book that I read this year. I'm still counting it towards my yearly goal because it took so much of my time, energy, and effort this year that I don't care if I finished it. I don't care if I read it, I'm still counting it. So June did not end well with the DNF, but let's see what July books I read and what I rated them. Okay, so I only read 3 books in July. As you can see, like, this summer was not a good reading era for me, but I read The Play and The Dare, which is his book 3, and this is book 4 of the Briar U series by Elle Kennedy. If you're unfamiliar with Elle Kennedy, she kind of writes a lot of college-age romances. That's what are most popular by her. So her most famous is Off Campus, then she has a spin-off of Off Campus, which is Briar U, and then she has the Avalon Bay series. I prefer the Off Campus series, but I had all of the books in the Briar U series, so I decided to finish it, and I honestly didn't love it that much. I rated The Play 3 stars, and I rated The Dare 2 stars, which honestly pains me because I love Elle Kennedy, but I feel like I'm just getting harsher with my ratings as I like read more books, and just because I rated them that didn't mean that I didn't enjoy reading them, because I did. I eat Elle Kennedy's stuff up and her work up because there's drama, there's smut, it's just fun. It transports you back to college, and it's just fun. So I haven't been out of college for that long. I don't know why I'm like aging myself here, but I feel like they're just like fun, easy reads. But I also feel like those are kind of like ones where you don't have to rate them that highly because there's not a lot of like deep subject matter in here or any like key takeaway lessons. They're just fun. They're just fun, smutty reads. So I don't know, I recommend them if you're just looking to get into reading, or you're just looking for some books to get you out of a reading slump or something. So definitely recommend them. I would read the Off Campus series, and then you can read the Briar U series because that's kind of like a spin-off. But if you're looking for like a summary like series to read, I would read the Avalon Bay series. So I guess I just had an Elle Kennedy month because the last book that I read in July was also Elle Kennedy, but this one surprised me, you guys. If you follow me over on Goodreads, you already know what I rated this book. This is Misfit by Elle Kennedy. This is book 1 of 2 in the Prep series by Elle Kennedy, and I absolutely ate this book up so much that I rated it 5 stars. I was not expecting to enjoy this book, or enjoy this book as much as I did. I was hoping I would enjoy it, but I didn't think that it would be a 5-star read for me. But this book surprised me. I thought it was just gonna be just like a college prep school romance about RJ and Sloane, but it was really about so many of the other characters. Basically, RJ is kind of like a misfit, like hacker boy, and his mom marries his stepdad, who is rich, and he is sent to go to prep school with his stepbrother Finn, and they become like really good friends. He kind of finds like a found family group of friends in Finn's friends, but he gets the hots for the headmaster's oldest daughter, Sloane, and they sort of form this relationship. So it's kind of from the point of view of RJ and Sloane and them catching feelings for each other. But then there's also other POV chapters from other characters of the book. So you have the stepbrother Finn, and then you have like a couple other characters, and you're also learning like throughout the book of a terrible accident that happened to Sloane's little sister Casey. You're sort of seeing the bond between Finn, the stepbrother, and Casey, and it kind of ends on a cliffhanger because you find out who was there the night that this accident happened to Casey. And I think that's where like the next book picks up, but it's from mainly the point of views of Casey and Finn in the next book. So I was not expecting this to have so many different like point of views. It very much gave off Gossip Girl, and there was a romance to it, but it also had like a little bit of like a thriller aspect. It was just really good, and it was like a quick pace for me. I really enjoyed it. So we'll see if the second one makes me enjoy it as much, but I'm excited to read the rest of the series. The only gripe I have is I ordered the UK paperback before Book Depository closed down, and I didn't realize that they didn't have the same cover for the second one, so I'm gonna have to get the US cover, but that's fine. So definitely recommend this one for the fall time. I feel like would be better to read it because of like the prep school vibe, but really enjoyed this one and was super surprised. So that's all the books that I read in July. Okay, moving on to all the books that I read in August to sort of wrap up this video. It is still August when I'm filming this, but by the time I get around to editing it and posting it, I probably won't have read many more books in August because I'm going to be prepping like my September TBR to post for you guys. So let's go ahead and get into the books that I've read in August thus far. If I end up reading any more, I'll just throw them into like a vlog where you guys can know my thoughts, or just like my September wrap up. The first book that I read in August was perfect timing because The Summer I Turned Pretty came out. So I read the second book in The Summer I Turned Pretty trilogy by Jenny Han, and that's It's Not Summer Without You. I feel like I had read these books in like middle school or high school or something, but it's been a while, so I feel like I was reading them again for the first time. I read the first book, The Summer I Turned Pretty, last summer and rated it 2 stars, and then I also rated this one 2 stars. Not because I didn't enjoy it, but I feel like there's no plot line and they're just super YA for me. I do enjoy YA books from time to time, but I just feel like these kind of just lack a plot line, and I feel like it's one of the rare instances where I think like the show or the movie is better. I just feel like they did such a good job, and Jenny Han was really hands-on, and all the little details and stuff that make up the brothers and make up Belly are in the show, and I really enjoy that. Anyways, rated a 2 star, still a fun, easy read if you're looking for something summery, and I'm so excited for when the third book comes out in the Amazon Prime exclusive covers. But let's move on. The next book I read in August is number 3 in the Avalon Bay series by Elle Kennedy. This is The Summer Girl by Elle Kennedy, and this is the 3rd book in the Avalon Bay series, and my least favorite. I was so excited for this book to come out because I love Elle Kennedy, and I really enjoyed the first 2 books in this series. I feel like I rated them 5 stars at the time when I read them last year and maybe the summer before, but I feel like now I'd probably rate them a little bit lower, and this one I rated a 3 stars, but honestly looking back on it now I'd probably rate it like a 2, but I'll keep it at a 3 just because. But I feel like this book, I've already talked about it in my last book haul and maybe my last vlog as well, I feel like this book was just too slow for me. I love a good slow burn, and I love a good friends to lovers romance, just like anybody else. But when it takes over 200 pages and the book is only like 300 pages, you know, for anything exciting or fun to happen, that's just too slow burn for me. And I do enjoy slow burn. So I just feel like this one kind of didn't hit the mark for me. It didn't make the mark. It didn't really do anything for me. I still enjoy the banter, and I really do like Tate. And I don't know, I just feel like this one, I don't know, that's all I can say about it is So I gave it a 3 stars, but if you're still looking for a like summer romance to sort of end the summer on a good note before going into fall and you haven't read the Avalon Bay series, go ahead, pick it up, give it a try. You don't really need to read them in order, but I would recommend reading them in order because the first 2 are better. So I was kind of disappointed with this one, but I'm still gonna keep it. Maybe if I reread it again, I'll enjoy it, but not as much as the first 2 for sure. Okay, I have one last book to show you guys, and this book I'm actually currently reading still. So if I finish it by the time I edit this video, I'll insert like a clip of me talking about my rating of it. If not, I'll save it for a vlog or my September wrap up. But I'm currently reading Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings. This is the 2nd book in the Magnolia Parks universe, and I'm absolutely eating this book up. if I'm giving like a prediction, like a rating prediction, I predict that I will rate this a 5 stars. I have about 100 pages left and I am loving it. These books just take me a long time to read because I just have to look at all of like the little sub notes and cliff text. I don't know, just kind of like consume it because it's so much more than romance to me. It's just so deep. And I feel like the new covers, let's talk about that for a second. I feel like the new covers don't do these books justice because when I see the new covers out and about, they are stunning and they're adorable. I'm not dissing the covers, but when I see like the covers with like the little glitter heels on them and stuff, I'm not thinking that the book is going to be about like a crime lord's little sister and like her toxic relationships, you know what I mean? Like I'm thinking like, oh, she's a shopaholic, or oh, a city girl, something like that. Not like this. Like I'm not thinking about no guns at the dinner table, like killing people, bodyguards, that sort of thing. So I feel like the covers just kind of do the series a disservice. They do it a disservice, but I do think they're stunning, and I'm so happy that Jessa Hastings can like mass publish now and get her books out there. But I'm absolutely loving this book. I don't know if I love it as much as the first one yet, but I could love it more. So I still have 100 pages left, so we'll see how this one ends, and I will update you guys in another video. But yeah, currently reading this one, and yeah, I think that's all the books that I'll probably read in August because like I said, by the time I finish reading that, editing this video, getting it up, it's probably going to be time to plan like my September content for you guys, which means choosing my September TBR, and that video is going to be with like TBR jar prompts. But that is all the books that I read this summer. I did not do a whole lot of reading. I'm very, very sad about it, but I like to slow down a lot during the fall and winter, and I definitely want to make more time to read in my spare time and my free time, and definitely going to be filming a lot more reading vlogs with you guys because I feel like I've kind of just been like mood reading, and I feel like when I do like my TBR jar prompt videos, I feel like it would be fun to vlog if I'm actually sticking to the books that I picked for my TBR. But that is all the books that I read this summer in May, June, and July, and I guess kind of up until now in August. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to like it, comment down below your favorite books that you have read this summer. I would love to pick them up if I don't own them already. Be sure to subscribe, follow me over on all my socials. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys!